Okay, so to start off Unit 2, we are going to talk about some definitions for terms like parallel lines, skew lines, and parallel planes. You'll see that on my slide there's a little bit more information than what's on your guided notes, so you're going to need to pause here to write down our first definition of parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that are in the same plane, that do not intersect, have the same slope, and are equidistant. Now, this word equidistant, it may not come as a big surprise to you, means an equal distance from each other. Okay? So let's look at the picture that's on your guided notes. Looking for two lines in the same plane, equidistant from each other that never intersect. So something like DC and AB, both of those line segments are on the front face of this three-sided, or this 5-sided figure. Okay? So these two lines would be considered parallel. They're never going to cross. They're an equal distance from each other all the way through and through. Okay? So DC and AB would be a good pair of examples. Now there are other examples, but for the sake of this, let's just go ahead and let's go with, you know what, we're not naming them here, we're sketching them here. So a rough sketch of what parallel lines look like would be something like this. Okay? Equal distant from each other, never cross. Skew lines, on the other hand, these are lines that are not in the same plane. They are not parallel, yet they do not intersect. So some of you may be thinking, how is it possible that two lines can be not parallel and also not intersect? Well, let's go down to our picture here. Now remember, we're not talking about 2 dimensions here. We're talking about 3 dimensions now. Let me delete off these other 2 highlighted lines. And now we're looking to find a pair of lines who do not intersect and also are not parallel. So consider line segment ED. I could consider a line segment that is parallel to ED. That would be something like FC. Those two are parallel to each other, and they are in the same plane. Okay? But if I want to find a line that is not parallel, you may think, well, how about DC? Well, that's true. Those are not parallel, but those also are going to intersect. So what I need is I need a line that is not only not parallel, but also will not intersect. And one that I'm thinking of is segment FB in the back here. Okay, these are not parallel to each other, and they're also not going to intersect. So these would be considered skew lines. For the sake of drawing that, that's a tough one to sketch. I would say maybe just refer to line segments ED and FB below. So I just go up here and say ED and FB below. It's a good way to keep in mind what those are. Parallel planes, these are planes that do not intersect. So think about like when we're in the classroom, you know, you have a line or a plane that would be like the wall that's behind you, and a plane that would be the wall that's in front of you. And those two walls are going to, if you extended them onto infinity, they go on and on forever. They'd never intersect. So in this particular picture, I'm going to go to my highlighter here, and I'm going to try to kind of color in a couple of walls that are parallel. If you think of this end right here, okay, that end and this end, those are parallel planes. If you extended those to infinity, they would go on and they'd never touch. Now you couldn't use the other 3 faces because those all intersect with each other. Okay, so let's answer a few of these questions from the bottom. What line segments are parallel to AB? Well, get rid of this stuff. AB is this segment right here. So there are two others. You have segment DC is parallel, and segment EF back here is also parallel. They will never intersect, they go on and on forever. So DC and EF, yeah, I'm just not going to let me do that. DC and EF. Make sure you use the proper notation. If you don't put the line above, then you're talking about points and not segments. What are the other sets of parallel lines and segments? Okay, so we just named those. We have a few others. We have parallel lines here and here. So that's DA and CB. We also have parallel lines here with AE and FB. Okay, so we got those. Let's see, the AB, the DC, and the EF, we talked about all those. So I guess just the last one, the last set would be these two. ED runs parallel to FC. They never cross, they never intersect. Okay, pair of skew lines, we already named those up here at the top, ED and FB. ED and FB, because ED and FB, not only are they not parallel, but they also do not intersect. And then the parallel planes, well, we kind of talked about those already as well. Remember when you name planes, you're naming planes using 3 points on the plane. Okay, if they don't give you a capital cursive letter, you have to use 3 points. So plane EDA, which was this end here, plane EDA, and the plane on the other end of this figure is this one here. We can call that FCB. FCB, or any combination of those 3 letters.